Hey, what is going on, guys? In this video today, we're going to be going over the current shotgun meta in Fortnite Battle Royale. As you guys probably know by now, Update 6.31 was introduced into the game a few days ago, and it has already had a major effect on the state of shotguns in Fortnite. Not only did the update include changes which impacted the damage of practically every shotgun in the game, but it also introduced two new shotguns, the purple pump shotgun and the gold pump shotgun. So for the first time in a while, we're now at a point where there isn't really a clear shotgun hierarchy in Fortnite, which I personally think is a really awesome thing. So without further ado, let's get right into breaking this all down. Alright, so let's start from the bottom of the barrel with the double barrel shotgun. And I'm just going to be straight up with you guys here. This weapon is really only viable in super specific and unique situations right now. It's funny because back only a few months ago towards the end of Season 5, you could make a strong argument that the double barrel shotgun was hands down the best shotgun in the game. But as it currently stands, the weapon's basically been nerfed to irrelevance at this point. And all it takes to understand that is a quick look at the double barrel weapon statistics. The purple double barrel has a max body damage of 114, which is actually really good, but its max headshot damage is only 142.5. And the gold double barrel is very similar with a max body damage of 120 and a max headshot damage of 150. So I guess those stats may not seem all that bad on paper, but when you consider the 2-shell magazine size and most importantly the lack of range with the double barrel, this is pretty easily the worst shotgun in the game right now. The only situation where it's viable is in those super competitive matches where you can expect to see something like 20 plus players in the incredibly small endgame circles. And honestly, after the changes that were introduced in 6.31, it may not even be the best shotgun for that situation anymore. So unless it's the first shotgun you find in a game, just leave the double barrel sitting on the ground for the most part. Next shotgun on our list is the tactical shotgun. Now I think the tac shotgun is definitely better than the double barrel at this point, but the truth is it still can't really compete with the pump or heavy shotguns. The gray tac has a max body damage of 67 and a max headshot damage of 134. The green tac has a max body damage of 70 and a max headshot damage of 140, and the blue tac has a max body damage of 74 and a max headshot damage of 148. So the biggest problem with all of these tac shotguns is the fact that none of them can even one-shot body shot a player with 75 health, and none of them can one-shot headshot a player with even 150 health. Now obviously the tac shotgun does have some positives, mainly its large magazine size of 8 shots and its incredibly fast fire rate when compared to the pump and the heavy. But me personally, I'm taking any color pump or any color heavy over any color tac shotgun, and I think most good players would say the exact same thing. But I know there are some people out there that really struggle with slow fire rate shotguns because aim is so much more important when using those weapons. And if that's the case, I wouldn't strongly recommend the tac because it's simply inferior to the other strong shotguns in the game, but it isn't as bad of a choice as the double barrel. And while we're on the topic of the tac shotgun, I honestly believe that the shotgun meta right now in Fortnite is legitimately one solid tac shotgun buff away from being pretty much perfect. As I mentioned when I was discussing the max body and headshot damage, the tac shotgun simply doesn't have enough burst damage potential to hang with the pump and the heavy right now. And honestly, it's been that way for a while, so that isn't something that's brand new after the 6.31 update. I would love to see either a significant damage buff to the tac, or a smaller damage buff combined with a reduction to the pellet spread or a range increase. Because not only are the max damage numbers of the tac bad, but its pellet spread and range are also pretty disappointing as well. I think if Epic can find the formula for a solid tac shotgun buff which can make it pretty much equal to the pump and heavy, it would legitimately be the first time in Fortnite history where there are 3 viable shotguns that all serve a unique purpose. And we'll get into a little more detail about that at some point later in this video. So now that we got the non-meta shotguns out of the way, let's get into the meat of this video by discussing the pump shotgun and ultimately the pump versus heavy shotgun debate, because they're really so close to equal now. So the pump shotgun was the weapon that was most heavily impacted by the changes in the 6.31 update. The damage numbers and range were both heavily impacted, and like I mentioned earlier, we even got 2 new members of the pump shotgun family with the new purple and gold pumps. So here are the new damage numbers of the 4 pump shotguns in the game, and you're gonna want to pay attention because these are actually pretty darn important. The green pump has a max body damage of 95 and a max headshot damage of 190. The blue pump has a max body damage of 100 and a max headshot damage of 200. The purple pump has a max body damage of 105 and a max headshot damage of 210. And finally, the gold pump has a max body damage of 110 and a max headshot damage of 220. So the first major takeaway from this is how much better the blue, purple, and gold pumps are than the green pump. And it's really as simple as this. The green pump can't one-shot body shot a player at 100 health, and it can't one-shot headshot a player at 200 health, while every other pump shotgun can. This is a huge deal because 100 health and 200 health are probably the 2 most common health thresholds in the game. Maybe 150 and 75 are up there, but who really cares? So in the past, the difference between a green and a blue pump really wasn't all that big. There would be times where I'd have a green pump and see a blue one maybe 50 meters away, and I'd simply opt to ignore it because the upgrade wasn't even worth my time. But this most certainly isn't the case anymore because now the difference between blue and green is actually really huge. However, even though those damage buffs were really nice and it means that most pumps can one-shot 200 health players again, it did come with a cost in the form of a range reduction. And based on just playing the last few days after the update, it definitely is noticeable. It certainly isn't the end of the world, but I've noticed that there are a lot of times where I may be 5 to 10 meters away from my enemy, and I'll hit for like 15 to 20 damage, when in the past that would have been more like a 30 to 40 damage shot. And now that the pump lacks range even more than it did before, that's exactly where the heavy shotgun comes in, and it's why it's pretty much equally as viable to the pump now. Just on paper, the damage numbers of the heavy shotgun are now clearly worse than every single variation of the pump shotgun. The purple heavy has a max body damage of 74 and a max headshot damage of 185, while the gold heavy has a max body damage of 77 and a max headshot damage of 192.5. So neither of these weapons can one-shot body shot a 100 health player, neither can one-shot headshot a 200 health player, and the purple heavy can't even one-shot body shot a 75 health player. So the pump easily wins the damage category, which is without a doubt the most important thing when it comes to shotguns. But the heavy really beats the pump in literally everything else. It has a faster fire rate, a larger magazine size, and most importantly now, much better range. And that's totally new compared to the last few months, because before 6.31, the heavy beat the pump in damage as well. So the shotgun meta as a whole was basically just use your blue and green pump that you find early in the game, but then drop it the second you find a heavy. But now, after the update, these weapons are so close to equal that it mostly comes down to preference when you're trying to decide between the pump and the heavy. Based on my personal experience the last few days and just what I value in shotguns, I would personally rank it like this. From best to worst, gold pump, purple pump, blue pump, gold heavy, purple heavy, and then green pump. But again, that's just me. It all comes down to your playstyle and what exactly you value most in a shotgun. If you're a guy that's really good at hitting super close range headshots, you'll probably choose to go with the one-shot kill ability of the pump. But if you're a little less accurate and don't really like super close range fights, then the extra fire rate and range of the heavy will definitely fit your playstyle more. If you ask 5 different really good Fortnite players for their personal shotgun rankings, you honestly may end up with 5 totally different rankings. And one last thing regarding the pump versus heavy debate that I want to say is that now that the heavy is no longer the clear best shotgun in the game, it really makes no sense for it not to be floor loot. It only comes in purple and gold rarities, so even if it were to be introduced into the pool of floor loot, it would still be relatively rare. But now the pump shotgun is arguably better, it makes absolutely no sense for that to be floor loot while the heavy shotgun isn't. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you watched the entire thing, be sure to let me know with a comment down in the comment section below. Now that most of you guys have had a chance to use shotguns after the 6.31 shotgun update, what do you think? Are you fans of the new purple and gold pump shotguns? Are you opting to take a pump over a heavy or vice versa? I want to know what you guys think. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications, do whatever the heck you want, and I will catch you guys next time.